officer, he's right. This is private property, so we want our private property. Now, it's private property of a mafia, of a criminal cartel, but nevertheless, it's their private property for now, and until they're indicted and in prison, we won't, and until, we finally get the audit and the Congress raids all the material, we're gonna respect their private property until then. So let's get off the private property of the Federal Reserve right now. Come on, everybody. Come on, let's go. Let's get off the private property.
2 days earlier, we made a similar discovery at the Dallas Fed. Here's the video of that.
This beautiful weather, here protecting our First Amendment. And I wonder how many of these police officers can read on the sign, Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, Federal, but right here says private property. Does that sound like fraud to you? Private property, Federal Reserve? Can't you investigate it? There's the criminals right there.
Yeah!
We didn't have these people. Show the cops, dude. We didn't have these people. Officers, I have a question for you. You're here guarding the private offshore Rothschild Bank, the Federal Reserve, from evil Americans. Evil Americans. I know you get the Homeland Security report saying those that don't like the Federal Reserve are evil. I've read the Homeland Security report.
All right, folks.
The Federal Reserve is federal.
Yeah, there's the Federal Reserve with signs up saying private property, keep off, with the police on the private Federal Reserve property, protecting it, in quotes, from us. But here's the good news. In polls, upwards of 85% want it abolished right now. Most Americans now know it's private. Their fraud is coming down. It's the beginning of the end. They are the collectivists. They are the globalists. They're the ones trying to create class warfare and endorsing Occupy Wall Street. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
All right, we are back live and going straight to your calls, but it's important to note, a dead giveaway is that the mainstream corporate dinosaur media, hanging on by its toenails, its gnarly little claws, first ignored the Ron Paul Tea Party that was anti-war, constitutionalist, pro-Second Amendment, pro-sovereignty, truly constitutional, truly conservative. Then when the Republicans started to take it over, they branded it as a Republican movement. But it's more the Tea Party took the Republicans over because they now try to sound like Ron Paul. You can see the evidence of that in Herman Cain and Rick Perry, the rest of them. But the fact that day one, small protests were given attention in New York was a sign that the establishment was going to try to co-opt this, because the bankers that run this country want higher taxes because most of that money's paid to them. So they'll claim that they're going to try to pass all these new taxes to pacify the unemployed and underemployed, to pacify them. But really, the lion's share of this stolen money goes to the globalist. And so I'm tired of the left thinking collectivism works. It doesn't work. And I'm tired of the right wing saying that any corporation that operates is perfectly wonderful and good. Bernie Madoff was the head of NASDAQ. Ken Lay was the head of Enron. And it's always government deals and government backing that allows this stuff to grow to this point. For 11 years, the Securities and Exchange Commission was sent dossiers by insiders of exactly what Bernie Madoff was doing. It came out in Reuters as a small blurb like a month ago. We covered it here on air. That thousands of such dossiers were sent on other big Fortune 500 companies, mainly Fortune 100. Start getting into that top 100, mooey bad news. All insider, basically. And they're all basically subsidiaries of the big 6 banks at one level or another. They're all partially owned by them. And they are lawless. And then the small firms get shut down for the smallest infraction, but the big boys get left alone. That's what the revolution in 1776 was about. That's a real Occupy Wall Street. But it's the antithesis of American freedom to call for collectivism. And a week or so ago, Occupy Wall Street was not completely co-opted. The establishment called for it, knowing the people would come because they're angry. The system's got the pulse. Then they tried to co-opt it, and the media basically has let them, at least in who they're giving attention to. There are a lot of in the fetters, a lot of constitutionalists at these Occupy Wall Streets, but the media will not talk to them. In Dallas, in Houston, and in San Antonio, the major news is all reported on TV, radio, and print. Even the Houston blog of the Chronicle had it out before it even came out in the paper this morning, and they said, I was at a Occupy Wall Street event calling for basically socialism. I mean, that's, the article basically says I was there, part of it, Austin talk show host, and then it talked about Occupy, Houston, and then out of Occupy Houston, they talked about some of the more collectivist people that spoke for it. See, that's what's so dangerous about the CIA and others trying to come out with this anonymous idea. Doesn't mean everybody that's a hacker for anonymous is bad. Doesn't, but it's a perfect envelope to then have government or agencies or mercenaries do something and then blame groups for it. So they just have this anonymous Occupy Wall Street, and then the media can then come in and say what it is. But what's the media saying? We've got solidarity. So's the Federal Reserve. We hear you. the 1% has too much. We'll raise taxes. Exactly what the Federal Reserve is calling for here, and the European Central Bank, same group, same shareholders, are calling for. This is economic fraud. We're being captured. And if Republicans don't actively aggress against this and target it and speak out properly, if you have your normal Republican addled response to this, we're going to lose this country. The federal government run by the big banks wants collectivism. They want to go further than socialism. They want a red terror. They want to turn loose the French-style mobs, just like they had in the French Revolution, as Rand Paul has warned. So, see, in a way, Herman Cain is telling the truth when he's warning about the potential of where these groups could go. I'm not saying the groups are bad yet, but it's being steered by the Federal Reserve that he worked for. He responds to his own system and tells you, I'm a conservative. Give me a sales tax on top of an income tax. And I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. They want that national sales tax. They want that VAT, and they're going to get it. I got crew members over in England. Folks. They pay a 20+% VAT over there on top of income tax and property tax. My God, ancient serfs paid 10, 20% in Europe. The average American who is a taxpayer is paying over 65% in some form of tax. It's incredible. All right, that's enough. I'll at least get to these 12 calls. Brandon, Rich, Gary, Ivan, Linda, Lee, Ralph, Ben, Frank, Mark, Don, others. Brandon in Pennsylvania, you're up first. Thanks for holding.
I was out at the end of Fed in Philadelphia today. It was kind of disappointing. I was the only one there.
Well, hey, you know what? In 1800, they'd have abolitionist meetings against slavery, and 3 people would show up. But 60-something years later, slavery was outlawed. So don't feel alone, brother.
The most disappointing thing is the people that most people just got angry with me. I was trying to pass out the Ron Paul flyers, the American Dream DVDs. Most people would get angry with me. And the few people that would actually listen to me couldn't believe that the Federal Reserve was a private entity.
Yeah, by the way, we had those San Antonio cops, and I've since confirmed the guy they were calling the captain was the head of Federal Reserve Security. That's why he said, call my branch bank. There's the head of security for the Federal Reserve in San Antonio saying, we're private, please get off our property, with the cops. And exactly. Folks, let me tell you, this was found in Nazi Germany. Once people bought into an evil, the establishment can get crazier and crazier because people have bought into it. They'll rationalize anything at that point. And so America is going the way of the dodo bird right now if we don't get the word out on this. And it's just, I mean, anything else, Brandon?
And the only thing is, I only met one Prison Planet member out there. But your stickers are posted everywhere.
Well, that's awesome, brother. Listen. We are the biggest alternative media website, Infowars.com, after Drudge. And we have PrisonPlanet.com as well. I mean, I reach conservatively 3 million people a day on radio, 1 million people on the internet, 600,000 people on our podcast. I don't even promote. Just the one they download from us, not even on iTunes. Our growth curve is we'll be reaching 5 million people in a year. We'll be reaching, if it continues to grow like that, a year later, 10 million people. I mean, look at that. And I'm not even that good of a radio talk show host. I'm just covering real issues. All right, we're going to, I got time to jam in one more. Rich in Nevada, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Good, sir.
Hey, I was listening to a gentleman, I'm sure you know of who he is. He's actually a former writer for Forbes magazine. He's in Japan.
Oh, yeah, I forget his name. I've interviewed him before.
Benjamin Fulford.
Yeah, Benjamin Fulford. What did he say?
He was talking about they actually, the group he represents has legal documentation. He mentioned Greenspan by name. But
well, no, it's true that he does hang out with the Japanese mafia. I mean, that's not debated. He gets interviews with Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, you name it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, stay there. We'll come back to you on the other side, and then we'll go to, and then I've got to hurry. Okay, we got at least 2 segments left, and I love hearing from you, and I want to hear from these Occupy Wall Street people. I mean, you can't deny now you have been taken over by the Democratic Party. And, I mean, you really think collectivism? More taxes is going to put this country into cardiac arrest. I mean, you understand economics, right? We'll be right back.
Steve Shank here with a special alert from eFoods Direct. The stock market continues to crash and recrash daily. Since July, the market